Hi everyone. In this material, we will be talking about traditional homeschooling as a form of K through 12 education. Now, when I say the term homeschooling, I want you to think about the characteristics, words, or the ideas that come to your mind. Are these ideas shaped from society, from your personal experience of education, maybe your friends, environment, or what you've been told through social media? Either way, I want you to take those concepts and relate them to the list here on the screen. These are common stereotypes or perceptions of homeschoolers, and unfortunately, as we all know, they can be extremely damaging or harmful to people within the homeschooling community. Stereotypes are misleading. They're not applicable to every single individual, which is why it can be very misleading or misguiding to have these ideas and then to believe that they're true without a lack of research or knowledge on this type of form of education. In this way, I want you to keep an open mind as we continue through learning about traditional homeschooling. And I want you to recognize that every form of education is not wrong, it's just different. People have different reasons for choosing the type of education that they receive, and being able to have that different type of experience or working better with one type of education than the other is based off of personal preference. In this instance, I want you to take that information and to apply that to be able to recognize how someone may be able to benefit or how you might even prefer to have this type of education for your child in the future. So, what is traditional homeschooling? Well, this is a term that can be very similar to unschooling or to home education. However, it is not interchangeable with the terms cyber school, online schooling, or even remote learning. Traditional homeschooling is very specific and unique, and it can be different for each and every homeschooling family. Traditional homeschooling is where a parent or guardian teaches their child from home. They may have one student or multiple, where they choose a curriculum from a vast amount of options, and each child may have the same or different curriculum, or they may use only one or multiple for different subjects. Either way, there's so many different opportunities and flexibility to be able to structure a child's experience of learning individually in the way that it is a very individualized experience for them. Children can still experience co-ops, which create a classroom experience. They can complete clubs, extracurricular activities, field trips, and they can even engage in the public school sports as well. In this way, they're still provided opportunities that public school individuals are being able to experience. However, their everyday structure may look very different. No matter the difference in their everyday structure, it is still a adequate form of education in the way that it is tailored around a child's learning style to be able to also be based on prioritizing one's values, beliefs, religion, morals, and creating a very nurturing environment for the child. It is hard to recognize a specific time when homeschooling was created. However, there is evidence in the colonial time period of home-based education due to a lack of educational infrastructure. During this time, there was a lot of movement between families moving to different places for a better future. There was immigration occurring in the 1800s, and so there was a lot of need for parents to fill the gap for children not being able to have public school as an option. We see this in different instances on shows like Little House on the Prairie or Daniel Boone, where their child is still receiving education just in a very different way that isn't public school. This form is in fact homeschooling or home education. However, it might be traveling or while they are on the move to a specific location. This picture shows a family that have just immigrated to New York and they're in their apartment completing schoolwork. The boy is working independently while the daughter is working with very much attention from the parent and a hands-on experience. This shows how each kid is able to have a very tailored experience based on their specific learning style and also the need for hands-on or independent attention. According to historian Lawrence Kremen in 2021, the colonists were heir to Renaissance traditions, stressing the centrality of the household as the primary agency of human association and education. In this way, it was filling the gap for education, but it was also centralized around prioritizing values, family, and making sure that this nurturing aspect was implicated. In the 1900s, we see that John Holt had a huge influence over homeschooling, where people were choosing to homeschool aside from just the lack of infrastructure. There were plenty of educational options, but people were recognizing the benefits of homeschooling and having authority over their children's education. In this way, there was a lot of backlash on homeschooling, and this community of people needed to vocalize their rights for this type of education, and that's why there was a lot of laws enforced to help give these parents the right to do so. CHAP and HaHa was created to specifically help families within Harrisburg to be able to have resources, advocacy, and just a community of people that were able to relate to being homeschooled and having a lot of backlash from the stereotypes or perceptions that people felt like homeschooling wasn't an adequate source of education. We see in the early 2000s, all the way up until this point, that organizations were recognizing the great movement of homeschooling in the sense that they were creating specific homeschool days and events for homeschooled families only. According to an article by Habeshian in 2023, homeschooling is now the fastest growing form of education in the country as there are about 1.9 to 2.7 million homeschooled students in the US. While the pandemic was a large reason for parents shifting towards homeschooling their children, the report shows that more than 60% of the American school-age population continued to homeschool after the restrictions were dropped. In this case, parents are continuing to choose homeschooling over public schools because they want the flexibility to teach their children outside, like this picture depicts. They want to be able to choose educational material that not only helps students experience a fun and safe environment, but they are also having fun and being able to learn beside their siblings and from their mom. Like I said, there's so many different factors for parents or guardians wanting to homeschool their children. However, while we recently saw COVID be a huge change in this factor, people have been shifting to homeschooling before that and after it for very different reasons. We see in research that homeschoolers have higher grades of test scores, they have greater completion rates. They also are seeing more social, emotional, and academic skills than what public schools offer because they are more centralized around communicational skills or a specific career that they desire to achieve in their future. Um, there are so many different reasons for homeschooling, but there's also this lack of economic stability and finances for public schools where they aren't able to staff enough people for hands-on support for special needs or disabled students, and they aren't able to offer programs that allow these individuals to be taught within their certain learning style. We also see safety and violence and bullying being a concern in public schools. There's a lot of concerns over inequality, lack of diversity, or the integration of clubs that accept different communities or religions, and political agendas being pushed within public schools. In New York, they are really trying to get public schools to use 1 out of 3 curriculums. And one of those curriculums is called Into Reading. According to an article by Zimmerman in 2023, a review from New York University found that the Into Reading curriculum is not culturally responsive and used language or tone that demeaned and dehumanized Black, Indigenous, and characters of color while encouraging empathy and connection with white characters. In this instance, there's a lot of controversy between political aspects or values, and in this way, people are starting to homeschool because they're finding that their problems can be solved through that by allowing their child to experience an understanding or learning prioritized in those values, those beliefs, and in the community that they believe that they're in. With all this information, I want you to think back of the stereotypes or ideas that you came in with, and to think about how after learning that knowledge or information, how your perspective may have changed. I'm not saying that you have to believe or be in full support of homeschooling, but I want you to think of how it has become such a huge form of education to where it has evolved into a mainstream form, one of the fastest growing. And I want you to realize how not everyone, but some people will find this to be a more beneficial form, even if it's something that you do not necessarily believe in. I want you to recognize yourself in someone else's shoes to realize how it has reflected and become a huge part of society today. Here are the resources from today's topic, and I hope that you all have a wonderful week.